On today's episode, we're going to break down 49ers camp. It's officially over with and the preseason is about to begin. The San Francisco 49ers are headed out to Vegas, baby, to get it on with the Raiders. Yes, Raiders Nation, get ready because we coming. Stick around because we're going to break that down. We're going to talk about the latest in 49ers news. And you already know we got to look at that unofficial depth chart. Well, little breezy this, little breezy that, man. Let's go have some fun today.
Breezy this, breezy that. They know I'm gold-blooded. I got the Niners on my back, you know. Breezy this, breezy that. Ain't nobody working like Breezy, and that's a fact. Overmotivated is an understatement. Gold-blooded to the core, got your squad hating. Breezy make it look easy. Breezy on everything like 05, 06, 7 Wheezy. This is not a game. Yeah, we faithful in every way. And even though we on the East Coast, very loyal to the Bay. Heavy red and gold every day. And if you really a Niner fan, I know you can relate. Applying pressure with this content like Smaller Bear. We not accepting no slander about Trey, so beware. I stay in exclusively Niner hats. And I always tell the truth, this exclusively Niner facts. Breezy this, breezy that. They know I'm gold-blooded. I got the Niners on my back, you know. Yeah. Breezy this.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Breezy. Breezy this, breezy that. What's good, everybody? Today's a great day, man. It's hump day. Yo, I'm officially back from the West Coast, man. I don't even remember getting any rest. I remember dipping out, getting out, sliding out to the West Coast, rocking out at training camp, and sliding right back to the East, man. That's how we do it, man. We move in silence and never mind. You know what I'm about to say. I ain't going to say the second word. But shout out to everybody in there, the Breezy's Bunches and the crew. Oh, I see we got a special occasion on today. We definitely going to shout out Brandy in a little bit. But guys, shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Wayne Breezy Show. And welcome to you. Welcome all. Welcome all. I see we got people in the building from all over the place. Got to shout out to Breezy's Bunch crew, man. Jax Knox is in the building. Good morning, Breezy and Faithful. Happy Hump Day Wednesday. Hope the show is amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Good morning, Breezy from Peachy and everybody. Joint practice getting started. Let's get it. Let's have a great show today with all the great hashtags. My man Bosa in the building. Great morning. Beautiful Niner family. Let's get it in beast mode. Don't let Jimmy look like a Hall of Famer. Dude, if Jimmy looks like a Hall of Famer against this defense, we're going to have some questions for Steve Wilks. Real talk. Marty Marr, 49er Empire, hashtag BBNCC. Let's go. My man Steve is in the building. What's going on? Troy Nola's in the building. Troy, you almost out, baby. I feel like you should be coming home very shortly. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother Troy out there, man. I call him Castor Troy. If you guys don't know about that movie, man, go watch the movie, damn it. All right, Pastor Troy. All right, shout out to my man Colin. He's in the building always. The one and only Christy Marie is in the building, giving Brandy some shout outs. My man GA is in the building. Good afternoon to you, fam. I forgot it is afternoon over here or whatnot. On the East Coast. I almost forgot. I feel like I'm still on West Coast time. All right. Now listen, today we got to do a special shout out because we got a happy birthday in the building. All right. And you know how we do. How can I forget Miss Debbie? Oh my gosh. I see it. Miss Debbie says, good morning, Wayne. Blessings to everyone joining this morning. Miss Debbie, I just want to say a couple of things before I sing happy birthday to Brandy. Miss Debbie, you are amazing. You look amazing. And what's that word? You're so amazing. So I want to, because I feel like I want to sing a little Luther, but I'm not going to do that right now. But Miss Debbie, I truly appreciate you, Queen, for all the hard work you do for the faithful. I'm sorry what happened at 49ers camp on the day that I came. I thought it was a little messed up. I'm sure if you guys follow Miss Debbie on Twitter, she posted what kind of like went down. But they definitely got to make sure that they take care of you, and I'm sure you'll go ahead and write them a nice little letter, and Miss Debbie will be sitting in VIP for the rest of her life. All right, so shout out to Miss Debbie. Thank you so much for always being a great friend, a great supporter, and whatnot. Don't bother me. What's going on, baby? All right, look, it's Brandy's birthday. She put it in the chat. Today's her birthday, so we gotta sing happy birthday. All right. Look, I feel like a lot of people that I know, my friends, their birthdays are in the month of August. It's so weird. So weird to me. Like how Capricorn and Leos, I guess they kind of click or whatnot. But let me get my voice tuned up. I was kind of screaming a little bit at training camp, so it might not be there. Me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brandy. Happy birthday to you. Oh, the falsetto is back. Let's go. My falsetto is back, man. It's been tweaking lately. The falsetto's been tweaking. I'm so glad it's back. I know I got a wedding on Saturday, which means it's going to be on its way out again. But listen, the falsetto is back. Happy birthday, Brandy, to you one time for the one time. All right. Any other birthday shout outs, man? Make sure you put it out there. I'll try to get to it. And if I do, you'll get a happy birthday song. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how I'm feeling, you might get the Stevie, you might get the traditional, you might get the. There's a new version out there that I saw that I just thought was so dope, but I know I don't know it yet. All right. But happy birthday to everybody out there that's celebrating the birthday today on August 9th. All right. August 9th. All right. Guys, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to comment, and feel free, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. All right. Also, you can become a member of the Breezie's Bunch crew. All you got to do is click the join button, man. Don't miss out, man. And it definitely helps support the channel as well as the live streams and things like that. Subscribe to the podcast right there if you're listening to it. Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify Podcasts. They're doing their thing over there, man. You can follow on X as well at the Wayne Breezie, as well as on Instagram, Threads, and Facebook at the Wayne Breezie. Now, I went live on TikTok today, so make sure you guys, man, you're following on all these social media sites, because you never know where I'm going to go live. All right. But I went live on TikTok today. It was pretty cool. It was my first time. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I did it right before the show. So I'm thinking every time I do a show, I'm going to hit you with a little preface or a prequel to what the Wayne Breezie show is going to be about. All right. So make sure you guys are subscribed on TikTok at the Wayne Breezie. It's the same thing. I might as well put TikTok in this same thread as well. So Threads, TikTok, and Facebook. All right. At the Wayne Breezie. There it is. Boom, right there. All right. So Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and Facebook at the Wayne Breezie. We're almost to 1.3K on Facebook. TikTok's almost to 6.5K. So the numbers are definitely growing. You guys are amazing out there. Shout out to everybody out there. Around the applause. We reached 10K on Instagram, and it's continuously growing. Continuously growing. All right. The exclusive content, if you're a Patreon member, the content will be on its way back. I'm working on some things and putting some new stuff together. So there will be exclusive content on the Patreon now that the season is almost underway. All right. So this is where you get the meat and potatoes, man. This is where I break down things, plays, formations, things like that, man. I do that stuff right there on TikTok. It's a little bit more private, but, you know, it's definitely worth it. And I have fun, and I'll have special guests on TikTok as well. So, I mean, on Patreon as well. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. Patreon.com/Wayne Breezie. And we got to give a shout out to our sponsors, all right, over at Residency. So, guys, go to www.residency.com. Look, if you want a snapback, a strap back, that's what I call them, or a Velcro back, however you want to call it, or they don't have fitteds yet. I know people are like, yo, where the fitteds? They not here yet. It's a work in progress. I promise it's a work in progress. Fitteds, that means you got to get a certain amount of fitteds at certain sizes, blah, 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 blah. It would cost a lot of money, all right, to do that. Shout out to the people over there at Residency. Shout out to my man, King, man. Appreciate the sponsorship. Listen, man, support the stream. support residency. Use the promo code SF Breezy. You can save on your purchase. All right. Look, there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about today, but we're going to keep it simple, stupid. All right. We're going to use the KISS principle. So let's start off today's show with the NFL's top 100. All right. Finally, it's official. All right. So some interesting things. All right. So the 49ers have 8 players in the NFL top 100. They have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players in the top 50. Let me just make sure I said that right, because it's got to scroll one more time. All right. 5 players, I believe, in the top 50. So the 49ers they're letting the world know. Okay, there it is. See, I didn't even have to let it scroll again. The bishop has spoken. All right. 5 players in the top 50. Nick Bosa finished 4th. Let me just put this out there. I think it's a little BS that the best defensive player in the world isn't at least number 2. I feel weird about that, Ronnie 33. But I will say that I understand that this is an offensive world. All right, the league is about that offense or whatnot. So shout out to the members, shout out to those that actually place 1 through 3. I believe it was Patrick Mahomes, Justin Jefferson, and Jalen Hurts. Man, it's just the offensive league. But I do feel like Nick Bosa should have been 2, and then you could have put Justin Jefferson and Jalen Hurts could have been number 4. It's kind of like how I feel. I feel like you could have swapped those guys. But hey, I'm not trying to be a homer here, but you talk about the best defensive player in the world, Craig, like the best defensive player in the world. And I know a lot of people were like, well, then when Aaron Donald was the best defensive player in the world, he was like number 2 on the list. Yeah, and he was. Not sure how many great quarterbacks there were during that era. It felt like it was a decade ago. But again, the NFL's top 100 is out there. I'm sure it's going to be posted everywhere if you guys haven't seen it already. Look, I can see the comments, man. People feel like Brandon Ayuk was snubbed. Hey, and if you feel that way, that's awesome. Teradon says 2 snubs, Ayuk and Mooney Ward. They should have been on the list. Crazy Juice, again, I feel like that Ayuk is being disrespected. So I tell you what, I do feel like that they were snubbed, right? But again, the league don't really know about those dudes yet. Like they aren't. Remember, what did Brandon Ayuk say he was? What, 4th on the depth chart and still produced 1,000 yards? Like 4th on the way that they utilize, and he still finished with over 1,000 yards. So maybe his the production from what the volume that he gets this year will be a little bit different. He'll definitely get a little bit more respected by the players. This is a players thing too, by the way. But I like the fact that he got snubbed, because this is one of them things he could put on his shoulder. Again, another little chip you could add to his shoulder to where he gonna ball out. My man Steve, who knows just about everything, says Ayuk don't make the flashy plays to get noticed. And remember, this is from the players. It's not a league thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not a league thing. And you could be right, Steve. You could be right. Poison the Protector says, like, BA feel disrespected, just fuel for that fire, baby. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Just keep disrespecting the young man. Please keep disrespecting the young man. Brian Cope says Tabor Pepper gets no respect. Z gets 0 respect. 0. We got to start putting some respect on Pepper's name. Real talk. Got to start putting some respect on Pepper's name. But guys, that's it right there, man. That's your recap of the NFL's top 100. Shout out to the San Francisco 49ers. 8 players, the most in the NFL. 8 players, the most in the NFL. Hey, let me ask you this question before we move on from this segment, though. Does it mean anything that the 49ers have all this talent recognized by the other players in the NFL and they still can't win? What's going on, baby? Do you think, no? Am I reaching? Am I fishing? I'm not trying to reach, but they do got a lot of talent. I'm just saying, never mind. Maybe I'm talking to myself out there. All right. I'm just talking to myself. I'm just curious to know how you guys think about that. Some 49ers news. Let's go ahead and move on. 49ers signed running back Jeremy McNichols. I would say he was like a former 49ers back at one point in his career. Signed in the offseason and, didn't make the team. But look, he's back. They waived the running back Ronald Awa. And it was weird because on Monday, Awa, I think, got 1 to 2 snaps. And then Laybourne got one, or Laybourne got 1 or 2 snaps toward the end of training camp practice. And so I thought they both, maybe one got stuffed at the line. I can't remember. I thought they both kind of like finished decent with those 2 snaps, like their opportunities. That's what I call, stuff in football opportunities. But at the end of the day, they decided to waive running back Ronald Awa. Not super surprised, undrafted guy. And they brought in a veteran. They brought in a guy that they that they are familiar with, that is also familiar with them. So let that ring a bell. They brought in a guy that they're familiar with and is also familiar with them. So it's not like they got to sit there and go and kind of like put him under the belts or whatever or whatnot. He's been with Bobby Turner. He's been in this camp before. You know what I'm saying? So this is it's a familiarity thing. And I know a lot of people were probably saying, see, I knew y'all were going to come with the questions. The question is there. I got to put this up after I finish this. But I know a lot of people are like, well, what about Elijah Mitchell? Is he going to be healthy? Here's some good news. Elijah Mitchell's on the team playing on the way to Vegas, looking good. Like on the way to Vegas, looking good. Will he play in a preseason game? Hell nah. But the fact that he was on the plane lets me know that they're managing the injury to Elijah Mitchell, which we'll get to. Let's talk about these injuries. Again, Darrell Luter Jr. is still on the PUP. Elijah Mitchell has that. Let me change that. It's an adductor, not an abductor. I want to make sure I put the correct word in there. So it's an adductor. It's an injury to the inside of the thigh. An injury to the inside of the thigh. All right. John Feliciano still has that shoulder injury. Aaron Banks still in concussion protocol. Jalen Moore with the bone bruise. He was looking better. He was out there working out with Kalia Davis as well, who had the hamstring. We're working out on the sideline at least on day 10. I wasn't there for day 11, but at least none of us were there for day 11. But on day 10, they were working out on the sideline. And then Robert Bill Jr. has an undisclosed injury as well. So, yeah, that's the latest in injuries. Nothing more. All right. Nothing more. Pterodome, it's not officially the groin. It can lead to the groin. How about that? So Pterodome says it's a groin injury, but it's not there yet. If it goes untreated without the proper rest, then it can lead to a groin injury. That's what the adductor will. That's where the adductor. So it's really in the inside portion of the thigh, and then if you don't let it rest and you let it rise up, it gets closer to the groin. And we don't want that, right? We don't want them nagging injuries. But again, Elijah Mitchell was on the team playing. All right, he was on the team playing, and he's with the team, and I like that. You know what I'm saying? Uncle Salty, I will be in Seattle, baby. A lot of us will be in Seattle. Callie says semantics. Hey, look, inside thigh, groin, 2 different things. It depends on the area. Like, is it lower inside thigh, upper inside thigh? Upper inside thigh, you could say groin, I guess. I don't know. But semantics, however you guys want to look at it, all right? So that's just the latest in injuries. Let's talk about Nick Bosa. He's still holding out. Will Nick Bosa sign today? I'm curious to know. Like, is today? Because they all in Vegas. I know he's not in Vegas, so do you think he's staying behind, getting it signed? Kyle Shanahan doesn't seem to be worried. Did you guys check out the latest presser with Kyle Shanahan? He doesn't seem to be too worried about Nick Bosa. Matter of fact, do I have the clip? I think I do. Let's listen to it.
Gone to John or Parag or anybody to just kind of get an idea where things are with Bosa?
No, definitely not.
How do you manage to just stay out of that?
Easily, just stay out of it. It's not much to ask. Nick,
stressful at all for you?
No, not at all. I don't know because I don't know if Bosa's ever done a training camp, and he's done pretty good. And it's a little different when you're a D lineman. I mean, just how you always, everybody wants people here and you want to do that stuff, but it doesn't affect the team as much from a DN standpoint. I have as much confidence in Nick as any player I've ever been around in terms of how he prepares and everything. And I know they're going to get it right, both sides, and I'm excited for when I do see him.
So Kyle doesn't seem to be pretty worried about Nick. He feels like Nick's going to come into camp, bang, bang, ready to go. What's going on, Lee? Lee is out there. What's going on, fam? The one and only Lee in the building. All right, the man, the myth, and the legend is in the building. He doesn't seem too worried, and I don't want any of us to worry about Nick Bosa. I guess my only thing is he's just not in camp. He's just not there. I wish he could be in camp, but if it just feels like he's getting a pass of not being in camp, and I feel like the faithful hasn't had to wait this long. This is kind of long, right? I think the longest we waited was it George Kittle? I think it was George Kittle. I think that was the longest we've waited. And I think it was a little, was it August 13th? I can't remember the date. I know John and I talked about it. But it's gonna be interesting to see what's going on. Anthony, Eddie G and the Bulldogs is in the building. Chrissy 1687 is in the building. It's gonna be interesting. But I do know that this is what I know from Nick Bosa. He to say he's never been in camp, that's bullshit. That's bullcrap, right? Because he's been in camp before. But this is the year where he's just not in camp. He's not around the camp. He's not near the camp. He's not, anything. Yes, Patabo, this is what I was getting to. It was George Kittle, and he signed on the 10th. So tomorrow is the day. Will Nick Bosa go past the 10th? I knew it was Kittle because Debo, I think, was on the 4th. I think Debo was on the 4th. All right. So, yeah. Interesting to see. So if he goes past the 10th, then he'll officially be the longest to have not signed their contract. But guys, I would say if the head coach isn't worried, then we shouldn't be worried either. And at the end of the day, I will say this, and this is the one thing we should all agree on. Whenever Nick Bosa comes in to camp or whenever he shows up, he's ready to go. I watched the dude tear his ACL one year and come back the next year and look, he should have been comeback player of the year that year. He can't. That's how great he played. I don't have any problems with his work ethic. And according to Kyle Shanahan, it's not going to make or break the defensive continuity. When your edge rusher, he says a little different. And if you listen to Cleveland Farrell, hey man, he probably happy Bosa not there. He getting them reps. You know what I mean? And then when Bosa comes, it might change a little bit. But listen, Bosa's super professional about making sure that his body is right, his health is great, he's eating right. And so when he comes into camp, he's going to be just fine. I just feel like he's getting a little pass, but there's nothing we could do about it. Really, there's nothing we can kind of do about it. All right, let's recap training camp. Training camp's officially over. The book is closed. Now it's preseason football, and the practices are going to lead up to preseason football, right? So that's what the practices are going to lead up to. The 49ers they're playing against the Raiders, and they're going to be actually doing their joint practices with the Raiders. All right. Now, before we get into the joint practice portion of this, I do want to talk about training camp. Let's talk about these quarterback stats on day 11. All right. Now, again, I've been following Matt Mayoko. He's been putting out the stats and things like that. And here's the latest update from day 11. 49er quarterback update practice 11. Brock Purdy, 11 on 11 reps, all with the first team, had 23. He was 9 for 16. Trey Lance, 11 on 11. He was 4 for 8. Some reports are saying he was 4 for 7. Cool, whatever. All right. I did not put the context. He does not have the context added here, but we'll talk about the context. Sam Darnold was 5 for 9 with his first interception. Too funny because we got to talk about that. And then Brandon Allen, he had 5 reps And then he went 1 of 2. Now, let me break down how the rotation has been with the quarterback. So, Brock Purdy goes 1, and the day that I was there, Sam Darnold went 2, and then Brandon Allen went 3. That was like the first session, like the first rotation. And then on the second go around, Brock Purdy went 1, Trey Lance went 2, Brandon Allen went 3. And then as practice continued to go along, Brandon Allen phased out. So that's why you can see his reps get shorter and shorter on that chart. And then, it ends up evening itself out with the quarterbacks getting the second team reps. All right. But there's some context that hasn't been put with Matt Mayoko. And I know a lot of you guys saw the context. Lot of drops. Like a lot of drops. I believe Trey Lance had 3 drops. Purdy had a couple of drops. But let's talk about that Sam Darnold and his interception. Because I think it's funny how on day 10, Sam Darnold, the beat writers, they came out and said, hey, Kyle, same presser. Hey, Kyle, Sam Darnold has 0 interceptions. And Kyle said, are you sure? He said, yeah, like he has 0 interceptions in camp. Are you surprised? And he was like, you sure he doesn't have 1? And he was like, I think you guys, I guess you guys know better than me. Do you guys think Kyle Shanahan set up Sam Darnold to get his first interception in training camp just so that he could be right? I'm just curious to know if you guys feel that way. If you guys feel that way, show me the thumbs up in the chat. If you guys are listening, man, make sure you comment somehow, some way. If you guys are watching later, I want to know, because I feel like that's a Kyle Shanahan thing to me. That's just kind of like what I feel. I'm not mad at him. I just think it's funny how Sam Darnold almost got through camp with 0 interceptions until the last day. The last day. My man Kenneth says no. Okay, Kenny. I believe you. My man Patobo says, heck yeah. He did. He always. This is just Kyle to me. What's going on, Luke? My man says, yo, Breezie, happy anniversary, my brother. Appreciate you, man. Many blessings to you and yours. Thank you so much for that. I do know Cameron Latou had some drops. Ronnie Bell had a drop. Ronnie Bell had a drop. It's another wide receiver that had a drop. Can't think of off the top of my head. But those were some of the drops in practice or whatnot. What's going on, William? So look, again, that's the context, man. Like, there's been some drops out there, all right? There's been some drops out there. And look, Ayuk said that Ayuk had a drop pass. Uncle Salty says he believes Ayuk had a drop pass, all right? It sounds unbelievable. It could be. That's what happens when you take the day. This is, why, Brandon? You want to know about if Brandon Ayuk had a drop, because I didn't hear that, but I'm gonna ride with my Uncle Salty. If Brandon Ayuk had a drop, you know why he got the drop? I'm gonna tell you why he got the drop. Just give me a second. Because on day 10, the day that Wayne Breezie flew all the way out to the west side to CBA, he decided to take the day off. It was like the one day he didn't practice. He practiced every day except for that day. He practiced every day except for that day. So if he had a drop, and remember, if he had, Brandon Ayuk has been lights out in practice. I mean, lights out. So I'll tell you what, everybody's entitled to a drop or two. Drops are going to happen. Look, let me just explain to you guys something, how defenses are working in camp. Look, man, the 49ers defense probably knows the offense. They probably know the plays, right? They see them every day. So like when they're running the stuff, man, it's not like it's unfamiliar with them. They're very familiar with everything that's going down. So because of that, man, I mean, it's kind of like the defense could kind of cheat a little bit. They could cheat a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? I understand you want to get rid of the drops, but it is what it is, you know? But I will say this. As long as when the season starts, they find a way to limit the drops. Because drops are going to happen, you know? Wide receivers looking to take off, to run too early, blah, 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 blah. Like, you know what I mean? Drops are going to happen. I felt like, to me, Ayuk's drops last season were crucial because he would drop, like, the touchdown passes. But, like, dude, that was a touchdown. He knew it, too. A couple times. Debo drops. Jennings drops. You know? Wide receivers are going to drop the ball, and I understand that. Hey, I'll take a drop over a fumble any day. But, look, they do got to find a way to limit them, if I'm not mistaken. And, hey, if they drop them in practice, cool. When the game starts, man, as long as they find a way to own in and limit those drops, I'm cool. But overall, training camp has been good. I got the poll question going on about the defense. Which part of the defense looks most dominant in training camp? All right, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on that. Once you guys make sure you guys vote. We got about 17 votes going on right now. So far, the linebackers are in the lead. Second place, the interior is in second. The secondary is in third, and then the edge is in fourth. You know what? It's funny you guys are saying the edge. Now, don't change your votes and don't listen to me. I want you to vote for who you want to, but I will say this. From the one day that I went, there was a lot of would-be sacks. A would-be sack is a sack that would be if it was live action. Don't sleep on the interior, the edge. That's what I'm gonna say. Just because Nick Bosa isn't there doesn't mean that they're not generating the pressures. All right. I just want you guys to know that Nick Bosa's not in the building, but they're still finding a way to generate the pressures. Did you guys hear when they asked Clelin Ferrell about? You know, they tried to ask him about, because it was his first presser, and they tried to ask him about hitting Brock Purdy's arm, and the laugh that he gave was so sinister. It was so dope to me. It was so dope, like he knew, right? And he knew he got chewed out by Kyle Shanahan as well, right? And then on top of that, I love the answer. The response was, man, listen, I have a high mode. I give high effort on every play. I tell you what, Clelin Ferrell, you're on a team where your effort being high is what's needed, because he said it too. He said it best, right? He said, listen, if I don't give high effort on every play, then I'm not being my best self and I'm going to have a bad game. Leave it at that. I never want to see Clelin Ferrell have a bad game. If high effort is what he has to do, as long as he's not getting penalty flags, he can hit whoever he needs to hit, especially if they on the other team. So we need high effort, and it's good to see that this young man is giving that high effort. He, back against the wall, coming from the Raiders, you know, being in that organization, not being treated right, not being played or utilized right. He comes to the San Francisco 49ers, and he's pretty much told to attack. Attack. Like my man from Ninja Turtles. Attack. Get out there, go get the QB. And I'm kind of glad he hit Brock, man. Brock, that way we could see, Brock, that was kind of like your first hit. Boss, leave him on beast mode. Don't ever put him on, cub mode, little kid mode, any other mode. Leave him on beast mode. The energy is crazy. And here's the thing, I've seen him up and close in person. So I'm like, dude, you're huge, bro. Damn. We got some size and some girth out there on the edge. And he's pretty darn strong. He's strong. He's strong. Got a move or two. Taco look really good. I don't know if it's because he's super fresh or what, but he just looked good. You want to talk about generating pressure? Taco was getting pressures. That's what I'm talking about. The 49. So I don't want to steer you from what you got. I mean, the linebackers are really in the lead right now. I think the linebackers are in the lead because all you see are pictures of Greenlaw and Fred Warner and the linebackers. Listen, the linebackers have been balling. The linebackers have been balling. Uncle Salty Wayne, is Deshaun Jameson going to be the surprise UDFA to make the roster this year? It sounds like he's been consistently good all camp. First of all, his play's been good. Second of all, Kyle Shanahan tried his hardest not to say anything good about the kid, but he couldn't help it. And then Steve Wilkes just was transparent as F. Like, he was just transparent as, like, he came, it was like, yeah. So, like, is he the UDFA that makes the roster? Dude, looking at this cornerback room, it's going to be tough. They have been working him out at nickel, but who are you going to get rid of? Who do you want to replace Deshaun Jameson with the roster spot with? And I'm saying, yes, he's going to make the roster. So I'm going to answer your question because he has been balling out. That's number 22. Guys, pay attention to him in this preseason. Camp was great. Preseason starts. So camp is one thing, and I like this, Luke. Luke. This is why you my man 50 grand. I like this. Y'all know I'm an Ambry Thomas guy, right? But he hasn't flashed in camp, whereas Deshaun Jameson flashed in camp. But I will say this: there's a difference between camp and football. Some people are workout warriors. Some people are camp warriors. But then there's football. I know Ambry Thomas has been trending downward a lot, but when those pads come on for real, let's just say after Sunday's game against the Raiders, we can officially kind of like evaluate the DBs other than the starters, other than Mooney Ward, Diamador Lenore, like those guys. But don't think Ambry Thomas is going to walk off and give his job away. Should Deshaun Jameson make it over Ambry from camp? Yes. But we're going to see what happens when they get into game situations because that is key. Is he going to make mistakes out there, on the field? Ambry Thomas might give up a play or a catch or whatnot, but will Deshaun Jameson get caught out of position if teams start throwing stuff at him that he's never seen before? Whereas Ambry Thomas just has that experience. So that's what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Jedi says Ambry is toast. I feel more comfortable going with a rookie than him. Sorry, I got no faith. And that's fine. That's fine. Look, I'm cool with it. I just want to see what happens when they play football. That's it. What's wrong with me saying, let me evaluate the players after they play football? Cats can stand out in camp all day. They're not really hitting. They're not tackling. They are hitting, but they're not tackling, and they're playing against their own selves. So let's evaluate after Sunday's game, and let's have this conversation because that's what's going to happen. Is Ambry winning his reps against the opponent? Is Deshaun Jameson winning his reps against the opponent? Right now, Jameson has the nod. But then you still got Womack. There's a bunch of DBs. Quantrez Knight. You can't forget these guys. You can't forget these guys. I'm just saying, that's a room. That's a room. The wide receivers, that's a room. The tight ends room, it's Kittle and then it's whoever they decide to take. The running backs, that's a room. I feel like they're set on their edge rushers. I don't feel like it's a big competition. I feel like the interior is solid. It's not a big competition. And I feel like the safeties aren't a big competition. But cornerbacks, wide receivers, and running backs, competition. Straight up. It's crazy because somebody ain't making this. And the linebackers. Even though you got your solid two. Who is going to play the weak side linebacker? Who's going to play the Will? The Sam. Who's going to play on the strong side? Is it DFF? So to me, those are what we need to really be paying attention for during these preseason. First of all, during the joint practices, which we're going to get to, and during the actual game. Because you know that the starters aren't going to get any reps. So team 2, team 3, things like that. They're going to be out there playing the majority of the game. Logan says, Darrell Luter Jr. better show up. I don't think Darrell Luter Jr. is even going to play this year. Right now he's on the PUP. If he doesn't make the roster, I'm not sure how it works. I think they have to cut him. I don't know. I think they have to cut him. And so my thing is maybe they're not playing him so that they can cut him and pick him back up and put him on the PS. I don't know. I love the questions too. Keep them coming. Uncle Salty Breezy, who's going to make it at backup tight end spots? I mean, I think you go with. I think it's going to be Warner and the 2 rookies. Warner and the 2 rookies. McCullough, what's going on, baby? Who is the main guy you want to see in the first preseason game? Oh my gosh, that's tough, man. There's so many players. But I want to see my man. I want to see my man Ronnie Bell, because I'm telling you, Danny Gray, Ronnie Bell, Chris Conley, Willie Snead, like they all have been. Daz Newsome, Tay Martin, they all have been making plays in training camp. They all have been making plays in training camp. If the 49ers go with 5 wide receivers, right? I'm saying 6, but if they go with 5, good golly O'Malley, because only one of them is going to get the 5th spot. I feel like, the 4 guys, Ayuk, Debo, Jennings, and Ray Ray. Those are your 4. They haven't been surpassed. But that 5th guy, do you go with speed? If there's 5, again, if there's 5, that 5th guy. So I kind of want to. I just want to see the wide receivers. Ronnie Bell looks amazing. He catches a lot. I mean, I know he had a couple of drops, but Ronnie Bell is amazing. Daz Newsome, I'm telling you, Mooney Ward is dealing with some type of an injury, and I'm not saying this is why he got beat, but he was getting beat a lot one day 10. He was getting beat a lot one day 10. I will say that. He's got to be healthy. He's got to be healthy. All right. But that's good, man. What a great training camp for the San Francisco 49ers. I will say that they got through camp with minor injuries. That deserves a round of applause, man. Minor injuries. Woo! It's my rookie watch now. Ronnie Bell, Deshaun Jameson, undrafted kid. And as far as running backs, like they brought in Jeremy McNichols, but I hope that doesn't push down Kaylon Laybourne. I hope it doesn't push him down. Like I hope he continues to rise up. And as far as the players to watch, Danny Gray again, Javon Kinlaw has stood out probably the most on defense. I think the scope has just been on him, but he stood out. He's winning his one-on-ones. He looks good in his defensive rotation. And now we're gonna see what happens when he plays football, because Javon Kinlaw is going to be in that first preseason game. Kyle Shanahan talked about, not playing many starters, but yeah, he's going to be in that first preseason game. And let's get to the preview with the Raiders. Let's talk about the joint practices, because that's what it's going to come down to. You're going to see a lot of clips. I don't know if you get a lot of clips, because these joint practices are supposed to be they're supposed to be kind of like undisclosed, all right? But, Kinlaw's in his contract year for sure. Definitely come back. He might be the comeback player for the 49ers. As far as the league, not really, because he's kind of like not really, really injured, but he gets injured. I don't know. It's just weird. But the joint practices are getting ready to begin. The 49ers are in Vegas. They flew out yesterday. They have an off day today, so there's no practice today, but they will have 2 scheduled practices on tomorrow. All right, 2 scheduled practices on tomorrow. All right, so tomorrow and Thursday and Friday is what I'm trying to say. Then they have their walkthrough on Saturday, all right, and then the game is on Sunday, all right, and then we'll find out who's playing, who's not playing, and things like that. But let's talk about these joint practices. Kyle Shanahan spoke about the importance, the pros and cons of joint practices. Like, why does he favor joint practices over the actual game, the scrimmage game, the preseason game? It's because they're gonna scrimmage. The starters are going to scrimmage against the starters in joint practice. And then when it comes down to the actual game, your starters may not play. He did talk about possibly not playing his starters in that game when they asked about Brock Purdy. So that was the first thing. They asked about Brock Purdy playing, and he said he doesn't like to play his starter. Actually, let's listen to him talk about that.
I doubt Brock plays. We haven't fully decided it yet. I mean, usually when we go scrimmage against guys, I rarely play our starters. That's usually my plan going to it, because a little more into the practices and the games. But I've changed my mind a couple times too based off how those practices go. So usually that's our plan, but we'll see how those practices go.
All right, so usually the plan is to not start the starters. So did Kyle Shanahan, without saying Brock was the starting quarterback, say Brock was the starting quarterback? I'm curious to know if that's what you got out of it. I feel like that's what I got out of it. Brock Purdy's the starting quarterback. He didn't say he was the starting quarterback, but he included him in the starters, and he said he doesn't play the starters. Me? Is it me? Is it no? Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to make sure I heard the same thing, that Brock is the starting quarterback, so we can kind of nip that in the bud, right? Brock is the starting quarterback without Kyle Shanahan actually saying Brock is starting quarterback. Cool. Brock's the starting quarterback. The competition is for quarterback 2 as of right now. Trey Lance versus Sam Darnold. To me, I feel like just Trey Lance has just been the best quarterback in camp, period. That's just how I feel. But Brock is the starting quarterback because Kyle Shanahan says that he doesn't play starters usually, but that can change. Terradone says, oh yeah, he said Brock is the real deal. He absolutely said Brock is the real deal. Patabo says he's been saying Brock is going to start as long as he's healthy. It was still iffy. It was still kind of iffy with Brock starting. But he still hasn't named him the starting quarterback officially, but he did say Brock was going to be a starter. Twin, what's going on, man? My prayers go out to you and your family, my brother. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we're praying for you. We're praying for you, Twin. All right. But yes, he did. Whatever. I'm going with him, which I'm accepting it. It's cool. I'm not mad at this point. It just needs to be whoever's going to give the 49ers the best chance to win a motherfreaking championship from the beginning of the season. Let's go. I don't care who it is. I just want to be on the damn float. I don't care who it is. I just want to be on the float. So it's cool. Brock, find a way to make it through the season. If not, guess what? I'm extra uber confident in Trey Lance coming in and taking over if something happened to Brock. I'm going to leave it at that. That's where I am. That's where I'm going to rock with. Brock is starting because Kyle Shanahan said he doesn't play his starters. But here's the wordplay, because what if on the second preseason game he says the same thing and then he starts Brock and then it just causes a confusion and doesn't play like Trey Lance? I don't know, man. It's just a bunch of stuff. Anyway, however you want to look at it, it is what it is. But joint practices are on their way. There's going to be some crazy matchups. Look, I'm already going with it. We talked about this on Nitty Gritty. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to throw about 8 interceptions in the 2 days. I just don't. He's already thrown 4 or 5 in one practice against his own team. So I don't see Jimmy Garoppolo being better against his former team, because when he practiced with his former team, he would throw interceptions. So I'm going to start off and say Jimmy in practice won't look too well. Now, will he hit some completed passes? For sure. I mean, there's probably going to be some quick passes. Isaiah Oliver, get ready. Isaiah Oliver is going to get the work. Whoever is covering these running backs going to get the work. I will say this, there's no Josh. Josh Jacobs hasn't even showed up. Like, he showed up and left. He was like, I'm out. So I don't even know who their running backs are as of right now. I don't know. I can't tell you. I would have to pull up you know what? Let me pull up the Raiders depth chart. Just curious to know, because Josh Jacobs, unless he agrees to this 1 year, which he already did, unless the Raiders offer him an extension, Josh Jacobs may not even play this season. And beware of that. Fantasy football, people, it sucks, but beware of it. You know? And it sucks because Josh Jacobs is in a PPR league. Oh God, he's top 5 in a PPR league at the running back position. I wanted to make sure I said that right. Let me look at their depth chart. I'm going off of ESPN. Zamir White, Amir Abdullah from the Lions. I remember he played for the Lions. Brandon Bolden, he used to be with the Patriots. Zamir White must be a rookie or something. I don't know, but I don't know who's going to be their running back. Now, I will say this. Thank you, Niner faithful. I don't know if like I said, no Josh Jacobs, no security for Jimmy Garoppolo when you could just dump that ball off to. It's gonna be interesting to see how well they practice. Now they do have some players on defense. I like Max Crosby, kind of a dirty player. He did okay. I wonder if Cleveland Farrell got this from Max Crosby because if you watch the quarterback show, quarterback show, Max Crosby was hitting Patrick Mahomes like after the play. And Cleveland Farrell in his pressure said, "Hey man, I like to do little things to get in the quarterback's head so that that way they don't forget that you're coming." You know what I mean? Like, like they're coming, And so like I might hit him in the arm or I might do such and such and such. Collie, I agree, he's hella dirty, for sure, for sure. That's that. Will there be fights at this camp? According to Kyle Shanahan, there better not be any fights. But listen. These are grown-ass men, and it's going to be a lot of testosterone on that field during these joint practices. It won't be during the game. It'll be the joint practicing. Like, trust me, it'll be for the joint practicing. But I agree, man. But I wonder if our guy, Cleveland Farrell, picked that up from Max Crosby about, jabbing the quarterback in the arm. He said it in the presser. Are we going to say that he's dirty? Are we gonna say that he's dirty? Golden Dragon number 5. You look new to the stream, but if you're not, man, thank you for being here. He says Bosa ain't signing an extension this offseason. The San Francisco 49ers ownership refuses until they win a Super Bowl. Dude, that ain't happening. Bosa's signing his the extension is there. They just gotta work. They gotta work on the language, the semantics of it, and things like that. And so that's what it's coming down to. Listen, Kyle Shanahan did speak about joint practicing, and I want for those that don't understand why he likes these joint practices, he gives you the pros and cons right here, summed up in this little clip.
Yeah, I definitely do, because you get to make sure that guys are getting evaluated. You do normal plays. You get to put guys in situations. You never know how a game's going to unfold, what the situations are, who's in there. Sometimes you get in situations where you can't do stuff based off of protections and things like that in games. So in practice, you get to get everything done, and you get to learn a lot more about the guys, to me, than you do in the games. Negatives are, it's always more competitive going against another team. So you want to make sure that there's no fight. You want to make sure both teams treat each other with respect. And I think us and the teams we've gone against have fairly been pretty good about that. And I expect Josh and his crew to be the same.
He likes joint practices because they're controlled. Kyle is the control. He's the video game master. He likes to control. 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 That's Kyle Shanahan. Like, look, I could control it. I could make this situation what we need it to be. We could run this over and over again. I don't want to say it's not. I want to say it's not authentic. It's just more controlled when you have these joint practices. So that's why Kyle likes them. And again, it allows you to sharpen the skill to make sure you're getting the right look, the right read, things like that. So we're for it. We're all for it. But Kyle and control, it just works. Again, start calling him Miss Janet if he's nasty or something, because he just. I like joint practicing because I can make this do this and this do that, bam. And it's cool. I mean, at least, hopefully we get out of these joint practices unscathed, things like that. But they are getting ready to go down. And that's the cool thing, because Niner football, to me, now is officially starting, because the cracking and the pads are going to be official. All right. Now, speaking of official, we got the unofficial depth chart that has been released. Now, I went through this several stinking times. All right. This is not the depth chart. So for those out there that thinks that this going to end up like it could end up like this. But this is where, like, the Niner beat writers, they get together and they put together this depth chart from what they basically saw from training camp. Okay? From what they basically... And I want to go through this, because I know you guys can have some questions. I do apologize if you can't really see it. I'll go ahead and take that banner off so that we can see the whole thing. Now we got the unofficial depth chart going on. All right, so let's start from the top. And you got Brandon Ayuk at the wide receiver. You got Ray as your, backing him up. Danny Gray and then Daz Newsome. And let's go to the second wide receiver. So you got Debo, Jawan Jennings, Chris Conley, Tay Martin. Now look at all the other ones in that category. Chris Conley, Willie Snead. And then if you look at the first wide receiver carrier is Danny Gray, Ronnie Bell. Right? And then on that fourth one is Daz Newsome, Isaiah Winstead. So a lot of wide receivers. Danny Gray is third on the depth chart at one of the wide receiver positions, and he's ahead of Ronnie Bell. So this is what they have. All right. And then you got your left tackles. We'll go through the offensive line. Trent Williams, Jalen Moore, Il Manning. All right. That's the order of the depth chart for the left tackle. Left guard, Aaron Banks, Nick Zakel, Jason Poe. And then you go through your centers. Jake Brendel, Keith Ishmael, Corey Luciano. Right guard, Spencer Burford, John Feliciano, Joey Fisher. Cool that they moved Fisher to a guard and not the tackle. Interesting. Right tackle, Colt McKivitz, Matt Pryor, Leroy Watson the fourth, Alfredo Gutierrez. I will say that I believe there's a possibility Watson moves up on the depth chart after the preseason games. All right? After the preseason games. Running backs, Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell is number 2. And then that third running back spot, TDP, Jordan Mason. That fourth running back spot, McNichols and Laybourne. Fullback, Juszczyk, Coletto. Coletto looked good, too, at training camp. I know y'all can't see my face, but I'm going through this list. And then we'll talk about the offense, and then we'll go through the defense. Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, or Sam Darnold, and then Brandon Allen. But right now, Trey Lance is ahead of Sam Darnold. Trey Lance has been having the better camp, too. So, I don't see Trey Lance dropping. In my opinion, Trey Lance has been the best quarterback in 49ers camp. There, I said it. Boom. That's it. Trey Lance has been the best quarterback in 49ers camp. He's looked the best. He's been pretty accurate. He's had the most drops. Like Trey Lance has looked the best. When he went against the ones, he looked good. And that to me, that stands out more than anything. And I'm not throwing shots at Brock Purdy because Brock Purdy has looked good. Brock Purdy does not look like he's coming off of an injury. He does not look like he's phased from that injury. Brock Purdy is slinging the ball still. Brock Purdy is attempting more deep shots down the field without having to put everything into it. That's a sign of trending upward for Brock Purdy. We know that's something that he just didn't do much last year, and you were worried about him doing that this year. Brock Purdy has looked good. Sam Darnold has been consistently efficient in practice. Again, all the quarterbacks to me are trending upwards. Again, Trey Lance has been the best quarterback in 49ers camp. Why isn't he quarterback 1? Because Brock Purdy's quarterback 1. Brock Purdy's the starter. That's why. It's Kyle Shanahan said it. It's not me. So that's what it is. So quarterback 2 is going to be Trey Lance. Quarterback 3 should be Sam Darnold. Let's get to the defense. Any questions about the offensive unofficial depth chart? Any questions? I skipped tight end and wide receiver? I did. I kind of put both wide receivers together. Let me get back to the tight ends. My bad. Thank you for that. I didn't skip the wide receivers. I actually did both of them at the same time. Niner Faithful, I appreciate you. So let's go ahead and get to the tight ends. I did miss them because they are kind of jumbled up there. There's a lot of them, right? So George Kittle, Charlie Warner. Look, this is kind of like what I said. George Kittle, Charlie Warner, Ross Dwelly, Cameron Latou, Troy Fumagalli, and Braden Willis. There's no way there's no way Fumagalli is making the squad over Braden Willis. And if I'm being honest, like Braden Willis, in my opinion, is the third tight end on this team. There, I said it. Third tight end on this team, Braden Willis. Third tight end. Let me let y'all see my face. Braden Willis will be tight end 3 on the San Francisco 49ers when the official roster drops. Okay? When the official roster drops, Braden Willis will be tight end 3. He might even push his way up to tight end 2. But for a rookie, that's pushing it. Tight end 3, tight end 4 be Cameron Latu. I'll leave it at that. All right. Let's get to the defense. All right, the defense. All right, so no Nick Bosa's on this, okay? And it's okay. He not here. But again, this is from training camp. No Nick Bosa. So we got Drake Jackson on the left end. Alex Barrett, who's been looking really good. Austin Bryant had an amazing, he had a great day 10, and I felt like he was even better on day 11. All right, Dalen Hayes as your left defensive end. Left defensive tackle, Eric Armstead, Kevin Givens, T.Y. McGill, Kalia Davis. Eric Armstead is healthy, ladies and gentlemen. Right defensive tackle, Javon Hargrave. Excuse me. Yeah, I said that right. Javon Kinlaw, Marlon Davidson, and Spencer Waggy. All right. Your interior, your right defensive end, Cleveland Farrell, Kerry Hyder Jr., Robert Bill Jr., my man Taco Charlton. I think Taco Charlton will surpass Robert Bill Jr. I just feel like if Robert Bill Jr. has this undisclosed injury and it doesn't get taken care of, he may somehow, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna. You don't want to cut this kid. You drafted him. I don't know. Here's your Sam linebackers, because this is what I was talking about. Sam equals strong side, all right? Guy that's going to be there to help stop that damn run, okay? Arm Burks, all right? Curtis Robinson, Kaiva Tizino, all right? That was the kid we picked up from the USFL. All right, there's your Mikes, Fred Warner, Demetrius Flanagan Files, Jalen Graham. This is tough because DFF has been lights out in camp. Interesting. Dre Greenlaw at the wheel, weak side, all right? This is your linebacker that's going to, potentially have to drop back in coverage every now and then, all right? Dre Greenlaw, Marcelino McCreary, Ball, D. Winters. I feel like that's right. D. Winters had an interception in camp, and that's pretty much it. Marcelino McCreary Ball has been pretty damn steadily consistent, and you just can't replace Dre Greenlaw. Left cornerback, Mooney Ward, Ambry Thomas. Wait a minute. I had to show you my face. So the unofficial depth chart has Ambry Thomas, the guy that y'all said is trash. All right? Ambry Thomas, Master J, what up? Ambry Thomas as the backup to Mooney Ward. Again, I know it's unofficial, but this is from training camp, from what the beat writers have seen. All right, I gotta make. I just want to understand why this kid just gets so much. Hold on, there it is. Why? Anyway, he's backing up Mooney Ward, Deshaun Jameson. You see how he crept up? He's right there. So that's the battle. And then the newly signed Anthony Averett is here. All right, right cornerback, Deamadre Lenore, Samuel Womack III, and Trey Swilling. Nickelbacks, Isaiah Oliver, A.J. Parker, Quantrez Knight. A.J. Parker had a good day. I think he had an interception on the day that I was there. But Quantrez Knight should be climbing up in the depth chart at the nickelback spot. I could see him being the backup. Do they keep six cornerbacks? That is the question. Let's talk about free safeties. Gip, Jair Brown, Taylor Hawkins. That is perfectly right. Talanoa Hufanga, George Odom, Miles Hartfield. That is perfectly right. And then, guys, we know the rest. All right, we know the rest. Mitch Wisnowski, Jake Moody, or Zane Gonzalez. Zane Gonzalez, he's going to hit the road jack soon. Jake Moody's kicking 60-plus yard field goals consistently in practice. I just don't think you can pass up on the guy you spent the third-round pick on. Ray McLeod, Willie Snead, Ronnie Bell, Deshaun Jameson. Those are your returners, man. Those are your returners. All right. Again, if you look at the very bottom of the list, PUP right now, Darrell Luter Jr. Reserve did not report list would be Nick Bosa. The IR right now is Darrell Johnson and Terrence Mitchell. All right. And that's your unofficial depth chart, man. Congrats. Shout out to those that put that together so that we can talk about it on the daggone shows. I'm excited. But again, I did want to highlight that Ambry Thomas was the backup on the unofficial depth chart to Mooney Ward. And Deshaun Jameson definitely is rising up in practice, man. definitely is a rising star in camp or whatnot, man. But what a great show. We're going to get to the Super Chat contributions. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. We're not going to be going just yet. We got the Super Chat contributions to finish up. And then if I was able to star any questions, I see a couple of questions out there from my man Ronnie. I'll get to that. And then we'll do this the poll question, all right? The poll. So let's go with our Super Chats. The Foghorns for all the Super Chats out there. Jax Knox says, hey, y'all, I'm coming up on a year knowing you guys. Pittsburgh, I will have Jax T-shirts, all sizes, 17-0, period. Almost 8 months being a part of the BB crew. Appreciate you, Jax. So you're going to have 17-0 T-shirts. Is that what it's going to say? That's what's up. I like that. Round of applause. 17-0, baby. 17-0. So that means, never mind, 17-0. We're going to leave it at that. All right. Then there was a follow-up from Jax. We will have less drop balls, pause, this season. Had a lot. I'm hoping that is the case. I'm hoping that is the case. And I'm hoping that is the case, especially from our main two pass catchers. But it's funny how the main two pass catchers lead the team in drops, but they also are seeing more targets, so more volume. Master J is back in the place to be. Master J is back from jet setting. All we can say is give Trey a chance. Let me say something about Trey getting a chance. I mean, at this point, he's getting a chance. He's still having the opportunity. They didn't trade him, okay? They didn't cut him, all right? And he's continuing to progress and trend upwards. So Trey is getting his chance. But as far as him surpassing Brock Purdy, it's just not the right time for him. The timing is off. And so, you go back to last season, Trey had the opportunity, and unfortunately it came to an end due to an injury. And if you want to compare Brock Purdy getting injured to Trey Lance getting injured, you could compare the injuries, but you can't compare the production and what they produced out there on the football field. I will say that when Brock had the opportunity, he took over for Jimmy Garoppolo, and not one mother freaker out there complained about it. Nobody. Not one person. You know why? Because we were winning. And that's the only thing that should matter. But that's what Brock did. Went 5-0 in the regular season and won 2 games in the playoffs before he was injured. The only reason why Trey is not even getting the opportunity is because Brock came back healthier a lot quicker than what they thought. So at the end of the day, it's Brock's job to lose. Will he lose it throughout the regular season? I don't know. I hope not, because I hope Brock continues to make strides up so that the 49ers can continue to win. I think that's the only thing that should matter. Will Trey Lance get an opportunity to play football for the 49ers? I believe so. I know how my 49ers are. I know how the quarterbacks are with the 49ers. So, yes, I believe he will. Christy Marie with the Super Chat contribution. Football is here, baby. We about to pull the chair out on the Raiders' asses on Sunday. You know what chair? See, you know what? Let's do it. Let's talk about the chair, because look, hey, I'm gonna go to Walmart. They $13.98 right now. I'm just gonna put a couple in the car just in case. You know what I'm saying? You want to be prepared. What did my man Scar say? Be prepared. Where the hell did the dude even get the cheer from? If you guys don't know what we talk about the brawl out there in Montgomery, Alabama. There was a brawl. It went down over riverboats and waters, and it was crazy. But there was a chair, and that chair cracked the back off of some lady, and I feel bad. But at the end of the day, she jumped in it. Hey man, you got hit with the chair. Yeah. This is what it is. But them chairs are on sale. You better get them while they on sale, because I can tell you right now, they $13.98. They're just going to be $33.98, because them chairs are going to be expensive commodity. But yeah, that's the chair we're going to use on the Raiders on Sunday. I just wanted to get to that. Thank you, Christy Marie. My man Nigel says, Breezie, what games are you going to? Cool. So I'll be at, I believe, the road game. So starting in Pittsburgh. Then I'll be at the Sunday night home game against the Cowboys. I'll be shooting my music video out there that weekend as well. And then I'll be in Jacksonville. I'll be in Minnesota. I'll be in Arizona. I'll be in Seattle. I feel like I'm missing one. And then when the playoffs start, you'll see me. So if you guys aren't part of that 49ers Rush Road Trip crew, make sure you guys go there and get your tickets, man. Because you're gonna want to be. If you want to be, here's the thing, right? You want to know why John and I create what we do, and especially for the road. Now, John's going to be doing the home games as well because now he moved out to California. He moved up north in California, so John's going to be at all the games, but I won't be at all the games. I live on the East Coast. 49ersrushroadtrip.com if you want to get your tickets to be at any of the events that we have going on. But you want to know why we do this? It's because when we travel, there are no safe places for the faithful to gather. There are no safe places. So what we do is we put together these rush road trips, we find the spot, and we just pack it out. And now you can feel comfortable being faithful or whatever without looking at some other fans from the opposing team breathing down your neck and things and whatnot. Case 49, I'm going to send you my address. You can mail me a couple of those shares. But seriously, that's why we put the events together. One, we want to continue to build the community and get to know you guys. Two, we want to make sure you guys are safe. I think that's the only thing that matters. Coach Cruz in the building. It's all about the Road Rush crew. I feel like I want to say, what a rush. Matter of fact, we should get Animal to do a soundbite to do a what a rush so that we don't get sued. We should hit them up. If you guys don't know who they are from Legion of Doom or the Road Warriors or whatever you want to call it. I felt like they only had two names. All right. What's going on, Lake City? Maybe we'll get a soundbite from them. You know what I mean? Pittsburgh is definitely going to be lit or whatnot. Guys, what a great show. We'll be back Friday with John. He'll be here. He'll talk a little bit more about the Rush Road Trip crew. Let's get to this the poll question. And I got one more thing I want to share with you guys. All right, so got 109 votes. You guys know I love it when we get to that 100 number. Where's the ding ding? Yes, pause. I got to say pause after that. Which part of the defense looked most dominant in training camp? There's a syntax error or whatever, spelling error. I should have put look in past tense. I'm sure some of you guys are going to say something about that, but it's okay. It's okay. So which part? 42% of you said the linebackers. So look, I'm going to tell you right now, the linebackers look too legit to quit. And I ain't talking about Fred Warner, and I'm not talking about Dre Greenlaw. I'm talking about the linebackers. They look too legit to quit. Hey. But here's the thing, right? Matt Mayoko put out a tweet of the numbers of interceptions. And so I just want to remind you, don't sleep on the secondary. Don't sleep on the secondary. The 49ers pass coverage has been tight through 11 practices with a few wide open targets, meaning that their ball was thrown right to them. The defense has come up with 7 interceptions. The 49ers defense has 7 interceptions throughout training camp. All right, here they go. Tashawn Gibson, 3. Dre Greenlaw, D. Winters, Flanagan Fowles, and Jair Brown. All right, each have an interception. I got a chance to see Jair Brown's interception and I think DFF's interception. I think that was the one on Trey Lance, if I'm not mistaken. So I got to see those 2 interceptions in training camp. So, look, don't sleep on the pass coverage. Don't sleep on the secondary. Them boys are hunting. Now, they finished last year where they had 20 interceptions from the pass coverage team, from the linebackers, defensive line, whatever. Whoever got an interception, they were part of that. They had 20. Dion from 90 Game Podcast already came on the show and sat here and said that the minimum this year will be 25. The minimum will be 25. That's kind of scary. That's a big number, but I'm with it. I'm about that life. You about that life? I'm about that life. Now check it out. I'll be going live on Instagram sometime between today and tomorrow. So if you're following on Instagram at the Wayne Breezie, make sure you guys go ahead and do so. Again, it's everywhere at the Wayne Breezie. If you guys like what you saw on the stream, make sure you hit that like button, man. You know what we do. Shout out to all the Breezies bunch crew out there. I appreciate you guys. If you guys aren't a part of the BB crew, I'm gonna make sure I say that right. All right, make sure you guys go ahead and click the join button, man, because the perks will be coming on now that the season is starting back over. Again, shout out to our sponsors from the show, Residency, www.residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezy and save on your purchase. We're gonna get up out of here, man. Listen, Nitty Gritty Niners on Monday. We'll be doing our unofficial 53-man roster, so that's gonna be fun. The crew will be there live and uncut, and then that following Tuesday will be the premiere of What's Your Fantasy with your host Peachy and myself, and we're going to be doing our first episode of our fantasy football show. We're going to have some fun this season. There's a lot of stuff in the works. Just stick around, man. All right, make sure the alerts are set to all. First turn them on and then put all. Don't have it on personalized. You'll miss a lot. Stay up, stay strong. Most importantly, keep it nitty gritty, y'all. We out. Peace.